Hello. Hi. So I ran a half marathon and it changed my perspective on not only physically moving your body and how good that is for you, but also how setting your mind to something can make you do incredible things. I think pushing your body to that limit is a really good way to also remind your brain that, hey, you're actually really capable. So, how this even started for me was I got the idea to sign up for the race completely out of nowhere. I signed up 3 weeks before it happened. Initially, my goal was just to finish and not to die. And I signed up because I've been feeling really stuck. And this has been going on for about 3 years now. And I'll get more into that in a second. But I just wanted to do something that I've never done before and something that had a very clear end point. So a very clear finish line. So for those of you who don't know, a half marathon is 21.1 kilometers. So it's a long distance. It's definitely not something you would run every day. So yeah, I signed up and I wasn't gonna train for it, but I ended up training a little bit. So this started on a day when I had to go pick up a package, and it was at a shopping mall about 4 kilometers from my home. And I decided, like, hey, I gotta go outside anyway, so I might as well run. I didn't even have like running shoes. The ones I had were like really broken, they were really old. I put them on anyway, and I went for a run. And I felt incredible. The level of self respect that I felt while I went out there on the streets, I felt great. Now, a little bit of my background, I do go to the gym. I started about 6 years ago and I've been regularly going ever since. And at first, it was a mind blowing experience. I felt so alive and so expansive, and it made me feel so good in my body. And I've been pretty fit ever since I started going. So I would do like all these group workouts, body pump, and stuff like that. And also just like lifting weights and everything. And I loved it, and I still love it. But for the past 2 years or so, I haven't felt as inspired by that form of working out. And I think this is a lot to do with my general mindset, which I'm going to get into in a second. But I got to a point where I would go to the gym, but I wouldn't really push myself. I would still stay fit and I wouldn't like completely abandon my health or anything like that. But I would mainly just focus on like, don't get out of shape. You got to look good. And I kind of forgot about feeling good for a couple of years there. So there's a lot to unpack. But I'm a relatively fit person, but I haven't been doing it for the right reasons for the past years. So as I was running to the shopping mall to pick up my package, which was a soap. So I went to pick up that soap that I ordered, and I felt alive for the first time in a while. I remember when I had the package in my hand and I'd run through the city center, I felt incredible. The good thing about running is that there's a clear finish line. So that day, when I got to my home street and I saw my house, I sprinted as fast as I could for those last few blocks, and I felt incredible. So I realized what I've been missing as I was going to the gym was, lifting weights. I guess you can set goals for yourself, but that never really worked for me. So I realized then that I really wanted a finish line. I wanted to see that I could push myself for those last few meters and just really finish strong. And I hadn't felt that for years. So I got home, I was like sweaty and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So I kept going. I started going for these little training runs kind of daily, well, not daily, but like every second day. And I started noticing some insane effects on my physical body that I would not have guessed. All the tensions that I've felt in my body for a while. So, a little bit of my background also, I'm very much into face massages and like keeping your muscles really like relaxed. So, I do daily like massages and I stretch and I do all those things. There's some tensions in my shoulders and even in my face that I've never been able to relax. And of course, this is a lot to do with emotional and mental baggage, definitely, but a lot of it's also physical. So I've noticed that I've had some tensions in my shoulders that I haven't been able to shake off. And what I noticed with those few runs that I went on is that my whole body, my back, my shoulders, everything relaxed for the first time in years. I think what running does is you kind of bounce your soft tissues and you kind of loosen them up in a way that like stretching or massaging will not do. So that was the first ding 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 in my head where I was like, whoa, this is really good for me. The second thing that I noticed, which is crazy how big of a difference I've seen, is in my ability to breathe. I never noticed this before, and I never knew that this was a thing, even, but I feel like I breathe deeper. I'm able to fully expand my lungs and really breathe in and really get the oxygen that I need. So one thing about me is that I meditate kind of daily. I try to. I guess that's been kind of not as regular also lately, sadly. But what I've noticed during my meditations is that I never got the part where they say, like, okay, like, take a deep breath in and then hold it for like 10 seconds and then let it out. So for me, that I couldn't do that. And it felt very, very uncomfortable. And breath work and stuff like that, it just didn't relax me at all. It felt like really just difficult. So I would normally skip that part and just get right into like the visualizations and whatnot. And I guess looking back now, it makes a lot of sense because having gone on those runs now, I'm able to breathe easier. Like it doesn't take as much effort for me anymore. I truly believe that getting yourself like out of breath and actually working out to the point where you literally feel like you're catching your breath and you're like actually using your lungs and actually like training them, it actually works. Now, I know this sounds like very obvious, but I just witnessed it firsthand and I'm amazed. This gets me to the third thing. I've noticed that I've started dreaming again in my sleep while I'm awake too, but I'll get to that too. So, I haven't been able to dream while I'm sleeping for a while now. And for the past weeks that I've been going jogging almost daily, I started dreaming again. And the dreams have been very vivid, very relevant to what's going on in my life. And they've been very, very thought provoking. And what I've also noticed is that I remember my dreams in the morning. And I haven't had that for a long time. So I would assume my REM sleep is deeper and longer now that I'm doing more cardio. Another thing I have noticed is that I think faster, and I think this is the biggest one. As I mentioned before, I've been feeling stuck in my life. So I've been feeling like I'm not as capable of solving problems in my life. I've been feeling less able to imagine things that aren't there. I've been feeling way less creative. I got to a point where I stopped believing in myself. That's very unlike me, but for the past couple of years I felt incapable of like escaping this place that I was in. So I was very focused on what I could see in front of me. I wasn't able to imagine a better future or things working out or things changing. And a little bit about my background also, I used to be growing up a very creative person. I would always think of like crazy ideas and I would dream like really, really big. And, you know, I think maybe all kids do, but I was always into all kinds of art, like just drawing and reading and writing and designing and literally anything creative. And yeah, for the past couple of years, I stopped creating for pleasure. I just created things because I thought that's what I had to do to make it and to become somebody. And I still wanted to like make music and do all those things that I do, but I didn't enjoy it and I didn't feel as capable anymore. And it became a chore for me, which really sucks. Yeah, so basically I had a really bad mindset for a while. So yeah, for the past years, my creativity suffered a lot and I suffered. Not to get too much into that because I think I could make a whole video on this. I just stopped being able to see solutions and to see how things could change. So, as I've started running again, I have noticed a huge increase in my creativity and in my ability to solve problems, to visualize things that aren't here and to think. I've gotten quicker at like solving math problems and solving anything that life throws at me. And there's been studies about this, how running is very good for your cognitive health. So I've seen a big increase in my cognitive abilities. Another thing I noticed is that I did not need to drink coffee in the mornings. Just going for that morning run would wake me up and keep me so fresh and so energized that I didn't even need to drink coffee. And I still drink coffee because I like it, but I noticed that I didn't need it, because before I would wake up and the first thing I do is I would go and make coffee. But now I wake up, I put on my running shoes, I go for a run, then I come back, then I take a shower, and then I might drink coffee. But then I'll enjoy it more also. It's not a necessity anymore. It's just a thing I enjoy. So that's great. And I also noticed that I don't get tired in the afternoons and I still feel like full of energy for the whole day and even in the evening, which I have not had in a while. So that's great. So these are the direct benefits that I've felt. And mind you, I've been running for a few weeks now. Of course, you could say that maybe it's not all because of the running, but there are many studies that show that running is actually super great for you. It's great for your joints, it's great for your knees. Yeah, I mean, it's good to move your body in general, to do cardio. I would have never thought that that's what my body needed. And yeah, a healthy body equals a healthy mind. So, but the reason you all clicked on this video was because I ran a half marathon. So, let's talk about that. This was my number. I was 2524. So close to 2525. We're gonna let it slide. It's okay. I had a really nice experience. It was really fun. I felt incredible the whole time. Okay, well, of course it was difficult too, but I felt really good for the most part. I was very nervous the day before. Yeah, I can insert a little clip of myself. I felt very scared, so here's me. So, about a week before the race, I started carb loading, which means eating a lot of carbs to make sure your glycogen levels in your body are good so that you'll have enough energy storage during the race. I'd never heard of that before, so I had a lot of fun. I ate a lot of pasta and yeah, so that's a fun week. So, you can just eat like without the guilt. That's great. I made sure to prepare by also buying a few of those energy gels. Oh, I can show you. So, yeah, this is a package of energy gel. It's essentially a very sugary thing that you can just like easily kind of like drink during the race. So, I bought a few of these. They also handed them out during the race as well, but I was like, I gotta have as many as possible. Some are with caffeine and some are without. I bought a few of each. Yeah, and the night before, I also prepared my outfit. Yeah, I chose my style for the race. So, yeah, I just made sure that everything I needed was like ready to go because the race started at 9 in the morning already. So, I wanted to be well rested, well prepared, and just like as stress free as I could be. Oh, I was kind of nervous the day before, but I was also really excited. I also made a playlist for the race, so it included some of my favorite songs, some of like these really powerful songs like Keep Going, You're a Winner, and some just like really goofy songs that would like cheer me up. I wanted to be as prepared as I could be. I took a sleeping pill to make sure that I got enough rest. I've heard people say that it's like you can still have a really good race even if you haven't slept too much, but I wanted to be sure to like be in the best shape I could, considering I'm not an athlete. But I was like, I'll try to do my best with what I've got. So, fun fact, I almost forgot my number. So this thing, if you don't bring this, you can't race. So I put all of my clothes like ready and like I picked out everything, like even my sunscreen and whatever. I put everything to one place and I almost forgot my number. And then I was like, oh my God. So thankfully I remembered and I was like, okay, that was close. And then there was race day and I went there by bike. It was really exciting. I was so ready. The whole city felt like in this like really nice mood. All the streets are closed off for the runners and it just feels like, oh, something's up. I reached the expo area. I was almost kind of late, so I basically ran to the starting corridor. the vibe was so great. There was like music and people were like, I haven't really been surrounded by a lot of like athletes in my life. And, a lot of the people there aren't athletes. They're just like people who do it for a hobby. But knowing that all of the people there came there at 9 in the morning to run 21 kilometers, that is so cool. I felt so much respect for all those people, and it felt so amazing to be a part of that. So, yeah, the race started. I had a plan that I'm just going to start slow and then build up my tempo in the second half of the race. But at the end, I just went with the flow, and it felt really good. It felt really good to run. I had only one goal, that I would not stop, not even once. So I just kept running. I remember a little bit before the 7th kilometer, I got a little tired and, I was like, "Ugh, it's only 7." The longest like training run I did was like 6 kilometers. So I hadn't even run 7. So when I reached about 7 kilometers, I was a little tired, but I remember I wouldn't even let a negative thought even begin in my head. You know how you get those thoughts like, oh, I'm exhausted, like I want to quit. I was like, no, when I felt the thought like that coming on, I was immediately like, nope, not right now. We have one goal, it's to finish and like keep going. That was such an interesting experience. I could literally feel myself like pushing away those negative thoughts. And I think if I'd given in and if I'd let those thoughts like continue and be like, ugh, I'm tired, and if I'd let any of those thoughts like go on, they would have snowballed. Not once did I even think like, yeah, like I'm gonna quit now. That was such a nice thing to feel because in my life for the past few years, most of my mental chatter has been really negative. That really, sucks, obviously. But during that race, I was like, you know what? There's no room for this. And I just gotta keep going. Move your arms and don't stop. So anytime I'd feel like a little tired, I would just be like, okay, get your arms back moving and just don't stop. And that was so great. So when I reached kilometer 7, there was like either a water stop or a gel stop. So there was like water stations and one gel station. So it was probably a water station. You could choose between water and sports drink. So I took a sports drink and I remember getting a huge kick out of that. So a little bit after that, it was around kilometer 7 is when I felt this insane high, and it was almost like euphoric. I felt like I feel so alive right now. I am a fucking winner. I'm going to do this. I'm strong. I can do anything. And I remember that. That was so great. It was like, I wasn't even like halfway done yet, but I was like I'm there, I've already won. And I let that energy carry me through the rest of the race, and you know what? I got to say, it wasn't so bad. That's what shocked me the most, is that it wasn't that bad. It never got to the point where I felt like, oh, I can't do this. I probably could have run a whole marathon. Of course, you gotta know your limits and, talk to a doctor and, all that stuff. But if you're a relatively healthy person like myself, I'm pretty sure you can do it. You just haven't done it yet. And I think we are so capable of so much more, and we just don't do it because it sounds scary, or it sounds like, oh, like, I've never done that before. That's the fucking thing with a lot of things in life. You just gotta do it. You don't know what you're capable of before you do it. And that's the same thing with me. Like, I never ran 21 kilometers in my life. I think the longest I'd ever run was like maybe 10 kilometers, but never 21. That's like more than double than what I'd ever run before. And I did it, and I could have done it for longer. I think for a first time, it's probably good to not run a whole marathon, but 21 kilometers, I think, is very achievable for way more of us than we think. I remember the last few kilometers, they were kind of tough, yes, but I never felt like I'm gonna die. It never felt like that. And the best part about a race is when you finally see the finish line. And the kick I got from that was incredible. I had a plan the whole time that I'm going to finish strong. So when I see the finish, I'm just going to sprint as fast as I possibly can, and I'll sleep when I'm home. I'll rest in my bed for days if I have to, but right now I'm going to run. That feeling is incredible, especially when you see the finish and you're like, I'm going to give it everything I have. I remember when I crossed the finish line, I was like, I fucking did it. I Of course, I was like out of breath. I just sprinted for the last, like, I don't know, 30 meters or how much that was. I squatted down. I was like,
I did it.
but it felt so good. I got a medal and I felt so proud of myself for this. So my finishing time was 2:19:09. It's okay for a first time. I kind of hoped I'd finish under 2:15, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, my what's it called? My watch activity monitor. I accidentally like reset my timer in the middle of the race, so I didn't know how much I'd run already. It is what it is, and I think that considering I didn't have that much time to prepare, I'm really proud of myself for doing it, and I am so motivated to go again next year to see the improvement I will have because I'm absolutely set on keeping this routine of running regularly because I'm seeing such benefits in my life and I just feel better. So, knowing that I'm going to do it, I can't wait to go back next year and to see the huge jump I will do in my time because I'm more than certain that I definitely can improve a lot. And I mean, of course, with anything in life, if you just keep doing it, you're going to get good at it. So, I have a little plan also of running a full marathon. I don't know if I'm going to do it next year, but I'm definitely going to do it. A little bit about the aftermath. So, when I got home, I was pretty tired, but nothing so bad. I took my bike home and I even had energy to do like a bigger trip just to see the other runners who were still on the track. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna ride past them and cheer them on. And that felt so good. That was so fun. And I got home, I ordered some food. I just chilled out on the bed and watched like Friends and, and rested for the day. It wasn't so bad. Like the muscles hurt a little bit. The knees, both of my knees, started hurting a little bit during the day, but the knees were fine the next day, and my muscles didn't hurt almost at all the next day. I guess the day of the race, I needed to just like lay down and chill, but the next day I was out and about. I was riding my bike to go places, and so overall it's a 10 out of 10 experience. Money well spent. I am so proud of myself, and I would recommend anybody to just try running. If not a marathon, then just run for any distance, because it's really amazing. It feels so good. And of course, like the first few times it's going to be like tough, but that's the thing with anything, but it's so fucking worth it. One of my favorite things I've done in a long time. So this race gave me a lot of motivation to try harder in other areas of my life as well. So this includes my creative projects, my just overall health, and living a life that I'm proud of. So yeah, this is my marathon story. If you want to hear any other stories on any other topic, I am so excited to actually be back on YouTube. I want to talk on a lot of stuff, so if you have any suggestions or any questions or anything like that, then please write them in the comments below, and I hope I'll see you very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!